Hello, my friend. Let me just tell you how happy I am to be here. And I'm happy. I'm feeling good. Hey, if you didn't know, I got my second COVID shot, and so did John. We both got Moderna, and we got it on Friday. So that's why there wasn't a What's Been Makeup News show today. I was terrified of being just horribly ill. And I do have kind of a chronicling of how I was feeling on my Twitter. But I was not horribly ill. I was mostly just really tired. So I was so glad that I took off from editing for the weekend so that I could just recoup. I was not feeling fabulous, but it was totally 100% worth it to have the peace of mind of being fully vaccinated. Of course, in 2 weeks is when they say that you are good to go. So I'm counting down the days. When I got the second shot, I don't even think I told John this. Right afterward, I got kind of choked up. I got a little like, I didn't cry, but I was really close because I was just so happy. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do a chat today. It was just kind of depending on how I feel, but I feel really good. Like my arm still hurts some, about here is where it hurts, and of course to the touch it hurts. But I mean, it's just like to the thought of being able to travel to see my friends. I really want to go visit Samantha March. If you haven't been following her journey, that's definitely one of the trips that I want to take, is to go visit her in her new place. So but I don't know 100% what she shared and what she hasn't shared, so I'm going to leave that at that. And you want to know what's going on with her, you can go head over to her socials. But I'm very excited to go visit her eventually. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about trolls and trolling because we've always, since the dawn of the internet, since AOL Instant Messenger days, there have been trolls. There's been trolls in real life probably since the beginning of time. But I think that the internet, there's more trolls. And when I say a troll, I mean somebody that specifically does or says something in order to get a negative reaction, in order to cause shock or surprise or outrage in a negative way. And it's done for many reasons. And we're going to go into talking about why I think people exhibit trolling behaviors and why it's just the benefits of it, because there are some benefits to being a troll. There can be benefits to being a troll, and what the negative consequences obviously might be. So if you're interested in that topic, hang tight. We're getting into that. About the halfway mark, we'll talk about what's on my face, and then we'll talk about whatever y'all want. We can keep talking about this topic. We can talk about something else. Totally up to you. But before we do, let's go ahead and say hello very quickly to the people that are here live in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. All right. So I'm not sure if I'm at the very beginning, very top. I do believe I am. People that were here first. NK Burlington is here. Lana is here. And for some reason, I think it just says good morning, Jen and Collective Brain. There's like a weird pop-up up front of it. Alicia, good morning. And Bella and Teresa M.O. and the rest of the moderators. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all are the best, especially not knowing if we were going to have chat today. Thank you so much for your patience and for being here. Brenda is here. Elisa is here. Indie Kitty One, Jen is here. Daniela, hello to you. Christine and Carrie and Joan and Margot. Elizabeth, classically Diana, and Catherine says, good morning, Jen. Hope your side effects aren't too bad. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Definitely 100% worth it. Yes. And if I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. So what kind of triggered this topic is a social media personality, let's just call her Gabbie Hanna. If you do not know her, I would not know her if it weren't for me being on Twitter so much, and people that I follow what goes on with her. And that's kind of how I learned about her. And I actually listened to some of her music because she does produce music not that long ago. I want to say within the last year. I've listened to some of her music, and some of her music is actually pretty good. It's enjoyable. It's not something that I would like put on and like, oh my gosh, this is the best song. But like things like, yeah, this is an enjoyable thing to listen to. Like, I kind of like this. But she is very much a troll. And we're going to talk about her most recent trolling and kind of what's going wrong with that, and why. Everything okay? Got a listing eye teeth?
Like a little bit of lipstick.
Oh, thank you, babe. I appreciate you. I do not want lipstick on my teeth. That is not good. Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. See, I got my wingman over here. I'm so lucky. But yeah, so we're going to talk about what's going right and what's going wrong with that. So, thank you so much to Glow with Glow for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, let's go into the one that I kind of participated in a little bit on Twitter, but I mostly just kind of trolled back a little bit, like just kind of was like, I'll show you. Let me just show you. So this was there's some going to be some bleeped out cuss words. I'm not going to say them, and I've bleeped them out in the image. But yeah, here we go. All right. This is what she says. Good morning. Daily reminder that I could F both your parents and the one person on earth that you love, but choose not to. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And I just basically I retweeted it because I saw this and I was like, I would definitely suggest against effing anybody who's proud of their Biore witch hazel. Like, just, it's basically 100%. It's like two different kinds of alcohol as in the top, and it's basically going to dry the heck out of your skin. Like, and there's very little benefit to that product. It's pretty awful. Its goal basically is to, let me switch back over. Its goal basically is to dry out your skin more, so that you need more of the product. That's kind of my thought on it. But yeah, so what she did was, of course, this caused a huge reaction, this comment, because you think about people that you love, and that she dare would say something like that, and yada yada yada, and like we all know that this is not a real thing. She I don't know whether she actually believes that or not, and I think that's part of the art of trolling, is to say something that's relatively believable. Like, does she actually believe that? I don't know. But this is the comment. It took me a while to find this again, but this was from Deaf Noodles. And this was the comment. It says, the fact that people can't figure out that I'm trolling in my TikToks is astounding. Like, I'm doing the same as I did and call me crazy and shut me up, which I'm not sure. I think that's maybe her music, but I'm not sure. I'm doing the same as I did on Musical.ly, just in regular time, because she used to be on Musical.ly, and then she was on Vine. If there's one thing I do know how to do, it's be viral. You think the girl who's been made fun of for her nose by the entire internet doesn't know what she's doing when she sings with her nose rubbing against the pop filter, or when I stare dramatically into the mirror for a silent 5, or when I say I'm going to F both your parents, blah, blah, blah. The ones that, wait, I'm just going to read it. Or when I say I'm going to F both your parents and the one person you love, that one's still my favorite because of how many people got personally offended because they know I could, in fact, F both their parents and the one person they love. It feels good to be in control. And I think that really says a lot. And it just shows how aware Gabbie is of the effects of being a troll and what that does for you, and then what that does just as a whole to people. And it's just a general lack of caring about the emotions of other people, about upsetting people. And it's a lack of care about that in order for personal gain, in order to go viral, in order to be in people's mouths, in order to be in people's feeds, in order for people to know who you are. Because what happens is when you like right now I'm talking about her, so you may not have heard of her, and because she's being a troll, she's now reached my audience. So you may forget, in 6 months, why you know that name, Gabbie Hanna. And maybe she releases music and you're like, I know that name, Gabbie Hanna, from somewhere, but I can't remember where. And you don't remember that she's a troll, and that's why. And maybe you check out her music. Maybe you like it, maybe you download it. So that's kind of the benefit. But you really have to be a special kind of callous in order to be a troll, because you have to not have compassion for other people, and not only not have compassion, but not care about hurting people. And let's go ahead and see what you all are saying about this topic. I find this topic very interesting. Kimberly says, it just shows that she's shallow to think that her body is the deciding factor in a person's decision to be with her. Yeah. Oh, totally. And I think that it just kind of adds to the trolling, that's something that she has, that she can show off, that she has a thin body, and that's something that society tends to value, is a thin body, and that she sees that as being a positive as far as partners, I guess. Um, Marky Mark says her attitude comes across as very icky for me. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, Jake's Baby Cake says she just admitted to wanting to hurt people and getting enjoyment from it. It's disgusting. Yeah, and this is the thing that I think, I don't know. You have to shut off a certain part of your soul, I think, or you have to be broken enough to not have that part of your soul anymore, to be able to purposely hurt people and to enjoy it, to find joy from causing pain in other people. But at the same time, her doing this is putting her name in people's mouths. She is getting a benefit from it. You think about other trolls in the past, Trisha Paytas and Nikita Dragon, and trying to think of other people that, because of their trolling behavior, that is what has gained them popularity, which is really freaking sad. Yeah, Janice, is the trolling supposed to be entertaining somehow? I think that it is because it's a power dynamic. It's a way to gain power over people. It's a way to gain control over people's emotions. When you're purposely harmful, you know the reaction that you're going to get, and it's a control thing. When you put yourself out there, when you are genuinely yourself, and you put your emotions out there, and you say, "This is who I am. This is how I feel." It's a risk because you have that criticism of who you are as a real person. But when you put out there that you are this awful person, when you're maybe not an awful person, there's just no risk. And it's the control of that reaction, I think. Yeah. And some people are entertained by it. I mean, she does have a lot of fans. Some people definitely are entertained. Let me scroll down a bit. Yes. Oh, this is a great point, Mark. Marky Mark says, I know she thinks this makes her seem more confident, but it comes across as very insecure to me. Things like this become harder when the person has spoken openly about mental health issues. I think that's a really important point, Mark, is that, she's constantly posting pictures of her, half clothed, big smiles on her face with comment. Like, there's nothing wrong with posting pictures of yourself half clothed. I mean, like, you do you. Like, post whatever you want. Like, if you want to post pictures, but it's the tone behind it that is like almost like a, hey, look at me, show off kind of situation. And then, you know, in the past, talking about mental health issues and how things do get to her. She does talk about that. And recently, she's been very much talking about her ADHD and basically excusing, her impulsive behavior on ADHD, and just saying, well, I have ADHD, of course I'm going to be impulsive. And as someone with ADHD, I have issues with that, just because the way that I feel about it is that ADHD is a reason for behavior. When we look in reflection and we say, I made this choice, and you know, I think I did that because of my impulsivity, or I think I did that because of my rejection sensitive dysphoria. I think I did that because of this. And it's a way to reflect on a behavior, in my opinion, rather than I can do whatever I want because I have ADHD. I can be a jerk because I have ADHD, because I can blame my ADHD. And that's what really bothers me. And this is actually something that I said. Let me take Mark's comment off real quick. This is something I had said on Twitter. ADHD is not an excuse, it's a reason. It's also a reason to become more aware of how our actions impact others and our own happiness. If you're using your ADHD as a get out of jail free card for the S behavior, sorry, I should have bleeped that out, you're making the rest of us who are trying to do better look bad. I wish there was more tolerance for our impulsivity and our rejection sensitive dysphoria and everything else. However, it is our responsibility to at least try not to hurt people, not say, well, I have ADHD, so no, don't do that. That's not okay. It's a reason, not an excuse. And it does make everybody else look bad, because people will learn about ADHD and what ADHD is from her, and they'll get this false idea of what it means, and then apply that to other people with ADHD, and that's just not fair. Because people don't have time to do research and find out what's real and what's true. And I think that's the frustrating part of her playing off of her mental health struggles. That I think that's the most frustrating part for me. Yeah, Margot says, I find it exhausting to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm very open about my mental health and my anxiety and depression, and to be made fun of because of them by trolls such as GH is awful. Yeah, totally. And I'm the same way. Like I've talked to people who kind of have a persona online and they don't really show their true selves. And like I think that's great that if you're able to, I can't do that. I'm not able to do that. It's too much energy to pretend to be somebody else or to hide parts of who I am. Like that's just too much energy. Like I can't do that. That's too much. That's too much. Yeah, totally. Liz says a lot of people with ADHD, they do not hurt others. I mean, I think that everybody hurts other people, at one point or another, intentionally, not intentionally. I think that it's just human nature to hurt other people, but to know you're going to hurt other people and relish in that pain you're causing people to hurt people on purpose. Like that's where it really gets me, that's where like it's like you really are really cruddy. But I see the benefit. I see the benefit for her. My hair is a little crazy today. I see the benefit for her to do that. I do. Um Cam says, I need someone to explain ADHD because no real info that's accurate that I can read. There's plenty of like Psychology Today has some really good articles, but the short of it is that we have trouble attending to one thing. Well, it's complicated. So in the general day, we may have trouble attending to one thing because we're paying attention to everything around us because we see everything around us. But then there's an aspect of ADHD called hyperfocusing where we can be so focused on a task that we literally cannot hear. Like all I hear is like mumbling. Like my husband will be talking to me, and if I'm hyper focused, I can hear that there's a voice there, but because I'm so hyper focused, I don't realize it until after he's done talking that he was talking to me. And it's like, wait a minute. And then he has to like repeat himself, which is horribly annoying. So there's that aspect of it. And there's a bunch of other things that go along with it because of the way we're treated through our whole lives. A lot of times we have something called rejection sensitive dysphoria, where we take rejection and criticism to a whole other level where we take it very, very, very personally and becomes physically painful, almost unbearably physically painful, the act of being rejected or receiving criticism. It's very, very intense, more intense than the average person. So those are a couple of aspects of it, but Psychology Today has some really great articles. Yeah, Sandy says if you look up the DSM-5 criteria for ADHD, that might help too. There's a really cool website that shows what it's like to have it. I wish I could remember the link because it's really eye-opening. Nice. Nice. Jen, be careful. She attacks women in smaller channels compared to her. That's fine. I'm not afraid of Gabbie Hanna. For what? For what? For saying that she's a troll? She said she's a troll herself. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good. I don't care. It's like she's not a nice person. That's what it comes down to. She's just not a nice person. And that's okay. You don't have to be a nice person. There are people out there that are just not nice people and they have a right to not be nice people. But at the same time, you have to be prepared for criticism and critique and for people not liking you. When you're not a nice person, when you're a troll, you have to be prepared for people not to like you. And that's the part of ADHD that I'm because it does seem like she has that rejection sensitive dysphoria, but it's like she's trying to make that not be a thing by trying to mask the pain that she feels from being rejected and basically just saying, F this, I'm going to say whatever the heck I want, and cause people not to like me. And maybe that'll stop the pain of the criticism. Maybe, I don't know, because she did it on purpose. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird choices. Hmm. Yeah, Leslie says the teenagers are going to be influenced by her, sadly enough. Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like prank videos, Like I don't like pranks. I think they're mean. I think pranks are mean. Like I don't get, but there's so many people that enjoy that kind of content. There's so many people that enjoy watching prank videos, And I don't know. I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't. Yeah. Hi there says, I'm not kidding. You're describing things that I've experienced and thought I was just overly sensitive. I'm going to do some reading and further research. And totally. And the thing about, I feel like when you identify with some kind of disability, disorder, so anything that you hear someone talking about, if there's coping strategy, whether you have that or not, whether you have ADHD or not, those coping strategies can help anybody, that is overly sensitive to criticism. And I know when I learned about rejection sensitive dysphoria, it literally changed my life. Like literally changed my whole mindset and my whole like self-reflection on the way that I interact with people. I've had a couple of interactions online where I got very, very defensive when I was being criticized. And when I learned that that was the way that my brain worked, I learned that that was something that I could control. It's weird because I thought it was just something I could like get a handle on and move on. And, but I was giving in to my emotions. And once I realized that existed, it literally changed my whole, my whole approach to interacting with people on the internet. And I'm just so thankful for that. That happened, I guess, about a year ago, something like that, maybe. I can't remember. No, I guess it was last summer. It was last summer when that happened. When I learned about that. So even if you don't have ADHD, my point is you can learn and, you can benefit from the strategies that go along with it. Okay. Haley says she wasn't trolling. She had an episode and she's trying to play it off like, oh, I'm trolling, but she wasn't trolling. That was a meltdown and I'm sure she's embarrassed and want to play it off. I honestly, like Haley, you probably know her way better than I do. So it's possible. I like legit, like the only thing I know is what I've read on Twitter and I've watched a couple of her music videos. That's it. And I watched Petty Page's video on some of the recent things going on. And that's like, I don't, if that may be true. I don't know. So you feel like her saying that she's trolling is kind of a defense? I don't know. I don't know. I just hope that she finds peace is what it comes down to. I hope that whatever happens, she finds peace and learns that it isn't all, that the cost of being in people's mouth, the cost of being a troll is that you are actually hurting people. And it's like, do you really want people to dislike you because you're a horrible person? Like, is that really what you want for yourself? Like, or are you just, I don't believe that she doesn't care. I honestly don't believe she doesn't care. I don't. I just don't. I don't buy it. Okay. So Catrice says she's doing this because she has a 12-part series coming out along with some music that she wants everyone to watch, listen to. She's doing this to make everyone think of her when all that comes out. And I could see that. And that's I think why, because people are fascinated by human nature, and maybe in that 12-part series, she's going to talk a little bit more about who she is and why she does what she does. But honestly, I don't care. She's just mean. She's just mean. And I don't want to watch just a mean person. Like I'm not interested in mean people as far as like supporting their content and watching it and being, she doesn't seem like she's not interesting to me in that way. She just seems mean. Like, it's kind of the way I feel about Nikita Dragon. Nikita Dragon is just mean. She's just mean. And I don't want, mm-mm. There's not enough vowels in that name. I'm going to call you Rob. I don't know. I think her trolling is the only the surface of the issue. I also think it's some sort of cover up for deeper issues she's struggling with. Oh, totally. Totally. And I think that, she's 30 now. I think that in 10 years, she's going to look back, hopefully, and just kind of be like, what the heck was I doing? And hopefully be in a place of peace because, I personally feel like your mental peace is the most important thing in life. And you can be the richest person, you can be the most popular person, you can be, have the most followers. But if you're not at peace, if you don't have peace with who you are, then that stuff really doesn't matter. And we've seen that with James Charles, we've seen that with so many, with Jeffree Star. You could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have genuine friends, if you don't have, peace in who you are, if you don't have people that love you for who you are, I think that really is, that's priceless. And there are so many people that don't have money, but have peace. And I think those people are much richer than people who have a lot of things. That's just my opinion. Jojo says, do you think she's been mean her entire life or after she got big on social media? I honestly have no idea. I have no idea. I did read something from her sister that she kind of changed when she was a teenager and got mean. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that's interesting too, Jennifer. Drama always comes about when new stuff from the creator is about to drop. Totally. And we've seen that with other people too, where they have all this drama, because people forget why they heard about that person. They forget. Yeah. Danny says, is she going to do a Shane Dawson type of documentary, Save Her Image? Maybe. But I mean, I think that when you're just mean on purpose, like I can't even with that. Jocelyn says the t-shirt bunny looks scary. Yes. Okay. So let's take just a moment and just talk about my t-shirt real quick because we're almost at 30 minutes. This is based on Monty Python Holy Grail. If you've never seen that, I haven't seen it in a few years. It's been a while since I've watched it, but there's a scene where there are these cute little bunnies in the field. And, they talk about the bunnies and how, they're dangerous and the guy doesn't believe them. And they go to like the area or whatever, I forget what they're trying to get from the area. And the bunnies like start attacking them and ripping their throats out. And they have these sharp, pointy teeth. And it's funny. So it says Run Away, but it kind of looks like Run DMC. And it just made me laugh. So it's a really good movie. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a really good movie. It's stupid and funny. And that was one of my favorite parts. But it's been quite a while, I will admit, since I've seen it. But the sharp, pointy teeth, like it's good. So, all right, let's take a little break and talk about what is on my face today. And my shirts are always from TeePublic, which I am not sponsored to say. Wait for their $14 sales. That's how I get on I need to get a sponsorship from TeePublic. I want a sponsorship from the Comfy too, or at least an affiliate link, because I'm selling so many t-shirts and so many comfies. Like, I wish I had some kind of affiliate link. All right, let's talk about what's on my face. So this I have been really loving lately. This was sent in PR. This is the Pure 4-in-1 Tinted Moisturizer. Been really loving that. I have 2 layers on it, so I've built it up about as much as you can build it up, but you can still see my freckles through it, and just really evens my skin tone, looks really nice. On my eyes today, I started off with the Makeup by Mario. This palette here. Okay. I started off with this. I use this as like a kind of like a quick base. And then I just topped over it. This is PR. This is purchased. This is a JD Glow Shadow in Sin from their Galaxy collection. That's what's all over my eyes. And then highlight today. This is purchased. This is the Nonzer 4-in-1 highlighting palette from Undone Beauty. I do like this highlighting palette. And then on my cheeks today, I went a little heavy. I tried to like get it to calm down a bit, but I've been really loving this Ofra blush. This is in Loyal. It's their liquid blush. It looks like it's going to be really pasty when you put it on, like you put it on like that and you're like, wait, what? That is not going to look cute. But then you blend it out. This is PR. And you blend it out and it looks really nice. So one thing though is that the shade in the tube is quite different than what ends up coming out. You see how this is like more pink and this is more peach? So I was going for a more pink blush, but then I put it on and It changed. So just be aware with these over blushes that they do change from what's in the tube. If you forget what it looks like, definitely do a little swatch first and make sure you want to put it on, because I would have chosen a different one of these today if I had known that this was the peach one, because I was trying to go pink today and it did not work. So to kind of match my shirt a little bit, I went with this Laura Lee liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Show Off. And I feel like it's like all up in the cracks today and it's bothering me. I'm going to put on the Scrandy Beauty Lip Sauce. This was PR. The Laura Lee is PR. The Ofra's PR. Because I don't like the way it's settling into my lines right now. I would say the Laura Lee liquid lipsticks, they are a bit dry, but they're not as dry as the Jaclyn Cosmetics ones. By the way, I've had so much crap from people. I love the Jaclyn liquid lipsticks. I love the lip liners. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah. It's like, dude, did we forget we're in opinion land here? Like, it is a fact that I did not like the liquid lipsticks and the lip liners. It is an opinion that they are dry. That is my opinion. Well, I feel like it's a fact, but it's an opinion, because what's dry to me may not be dry to you. So people like you're lying. It's like, no, dude, it's just my opinion. If you feel something different, that's fine. But like, you know, a makeup review is an opinion. That means that other people have a right to have other thoughts. Gosh. Yes, this part was really good too. Emma says, I love Holy Grail, the Black Knight losing all of his limbs. Yes, it's just a flesh wound. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, over lip products are amazing. Totally, totally, totally agree. Yeah, here we go. Hi there, opinion land, where everyone wants to be heard, but some take it too far. Oh, totally. Yeah, but I think that it's really important to understand the difference between a fact and opinion. And I think that, you know, we taught that. Like, that was a big part of elementary comprehension, you know, when I was teaching the difference between a fact and opinion. And I think that, you know, most adults know the difference between a fact and an opinion, but I think that some people forget to apply that skill sometimes, you know, that just because I like something or don't like something doesn't mean that you may have a different experience, because it's an opinion. And it's okay. It's okay to have a different opinion. Like, I don't like my lips going and sticking together. That's my personal opinion. And people take things very, very personally. Vicky says, I feel like Jaclyn's liquid lipsticks are very liquidy. I would have liked a more moussey formula, but that's just what I like. Yeah, that's what I like too. Like the Bare Minerals ones, the Cosmetics ones, those are nice and moussey and comfortable. But I think that hers are going to be better for people that wear masks, in that they don't transfer as much, you know, if that's what you're looking for. But I just can't stand the way they feel. They feel awful. They feel terrible. Just the stickiness. Like, I can't even put my lips together and talk without my lips sticking together. Like the Laura Lee ones are a little dry, but I can talk without my lips sticking together. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. Talking about what we were talking about earlier. Katie says, one has an inflated sense of importance, a deep need for excessive attention, troubled relationships, and lack of empathy for others. Behind extreme confidence is extreme fragile to the slightest criticism. Yeah, probably. Because you got to put up that front. You have to put up that, you know, you have to put up that air that you can't hurt me. Like, no matter what you say, you can't hurt me. But it's like, why? See, if you're someone that feels, you know, pain from criticism, and you're someone that feels pain from what other people say, why would you purposely do that to somebody else, especially strangers? You know, why would you say things that are offensive? You know, like, I don't get that. I don't get, if you know how it feels, why you would do that to somebody else. I don't understand. But I do think there is an inflated sense of importance. I think that, you know, when people grow on social media, when they get large, especially when they're younger, in my opinion, I could be wrong. But in my opinion, a lot of people that grow to, not everybody, but a lot of people that grow to large social media platforms when they're younger do get that inflated sense of importance, because people hold them up on a pedestal, and it changes the way that they see themselves. And they allow that pedestal to leak into, they love me for who I am. When really, like I've said this multiple times, when you see somebody on the internet, you don't see the whole picture. When you have a puzzle, there's missing pieces. There's always going to be missing pieces unless you live with that person. Like there's always going to be missing pieces unless if you work with somebody, you're going to be able to see more. But like the internet, it's all filtered out. It's filtered. And I think depending on how much that person really comes out as being themselves, you really can't really see different things about who they are as a person. And I think that sense of importance comes from, really internally taking in other people's praise and this person walks on water and then starting to believe it because it feels good. But the problem with that is that if you believe that your social media presence and your number of followers gives you value as a human being and people that don't have that are less valuable, what happens when you lose that? What happens if you fall from that position? And I think that we've seen that happen to people. Then your whole value of who you are as a person has now gone to nothing. And I feel very fortunate that I got into social media at an older age because, I think that I would really have trouble with a lot of this if I was 10 years younger than I am. Yeah. Oh, totally. Cinnamon says, I remember you can have ADD without the hyperactivity aspect. You might have the attention deficit disorder still. Yes. And that's the way that I am. The way my doctor described it to me is that I have ADHD inattentive type. There's hyperactive type and then there's inattentive type. And I have inattentive type. So that was called ADD. I think they call both of them ADHD for some reason now. I think ADD is more accurate, but I think they call them ADHD. But you're right, and that's the way that I am. And girls and women are more likely to not have the hyperactive aspect of it. There's all kinds of interesting things happening here. So I'm trying to find something. Okay, this is interesting. Liz says, I don't want to diagnose, but narcissists never believe they're wrong. And I don't know if that's what we're talking about here either. I honestly don't know. But I think that, when you have to admit that you're wrong, for some people that's very painful. And people with ADHD, it's very painful to admit that you're wrong. More painful, well, from what I've read than other people. So, masking that with saying I don't care is an easy way to try to convince yourself that you don't, is to constantly say I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. But I do wonder how she sleeps at night. I honestly do. I do wonder how that works. Oh, lots of comments since I last scrolled down. Okay, Journey to Find K. As an adult with ADHD and mental health worker, they call them both, but ADD is still a sub-diagnosis. Gabbie pisses me off, but also shows those who work/know mental health are just as human as anyone. Oh, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, it goes back to like when we were a kid, you think that your teachers sleep at the school. You see your teacher out at Target and you're like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Miller, you're at the Target? Like it doesn't make sense, right? And also, not really, and thinking your teachers and your parents and the adults around you know everything and have it all figured out. And then you become a parent or just, an adult or, a teacher or whatever. And you realize that none of those people have it completely figured out. Nobody has life completely figured out. Doesn't matter. It can be the motivational speakers. Tony Robbins, doesn't have it all figured out. He may put up a good front, but like nobody has it all figured out. Everybody's always in a state of learning and flux and growing.
Don't talk smack about Tony Robbins.
John's a Tony Robbins fan. Don't talk smack about Tony Robbins. I should give you a mic over there so you can like talk sometimes. Okay, so people are saying that Gabbie has borderline personality disorder. And NK Burlington says borderline personality disorder is an illness marked by an ongoing pattern of varying moods, self-image, and behavior. These symptoms often result in impulsive actions and problems in relationships. And that makes sense. And hopefully, like I know Trisha Paytas has talked about how they are in therapy to help with those kinds of things. And I think that if you're hurting other people, and you're unable to control yourself and you're unable to cope and manage that, learning those coping strategies through therapy or through even just researching on your own is better than nothing. So, but maybe Gabbie's just not there yet. Maybe. But I'm happy to see that Trisha has made that choice and seems to be, because Trisha has been a big troll in the past. Purposely hurting people, purposely hurting the dissociated channel, dissociative identity disorder community, and others, many others. So, and it seems like Trisha's gotten to a point where they are really taking seriously how their actions impact other people and also finding benefit in not being a troll, through the H3 podcast and everything. And just being Trisha's always been very intelligent, whether it was through trolling or through, just the way that they talk about things. I think hopefully things work out for Trisha. Hopefully things will, through that therapy, Trisha will be able to stay on that path of using their intelligence for good and for helping people rather than hurting. And hopefully Gabbie will find her way there as well. And the reason why I'm comparing is because I believe Trisha has said in the past that they have borderline personality disorder as well. But I don't know these people very well, so please correct me if I'm wrong, if I've got either of those wrong. I'm not super familiar, so I could be wrong about one, other, both. Yeah, this is interesting. Haley says, I feel like Trisha leveled up and now Gabbie's trying to take her place as the worst on the internet. Yeah, I think so. But I don't know if Gabbie's going to be able to handle it. That's the thing, is I do think that there was a level of Trisha that Trisha genuinely didn't care. Look, I honestly do. I think Trisha was much better at not caring than Gabbie is. I think Gabbie is cares more than she lets on. I think the repetitiveness of I don't care, I don't care, I don't care is a sign of caring. Like, you don't need to constantly prove to people that you don't care if you genuinely don't care. You know what I mean? Like, why are you repeating that? I don't get that. I don't get it. Oh, Indigo, thank you. FYI, borderline personality disorder is not an illness. It's a maladaptive personality trait. It's difficult to treat because of the core of someone's personality. Thank you so much for that clarifying statement. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a long time since I got my psych degree. I graduated in 2005. It's been a very, very long time. And I don't remember talking about that a lot. And my psych degree was kind of a mess. I have an associate's degree in mental health that I got in 1999. And a lot of that fed into my psych degree. So there was a big space between when I got my mental health degree to when I got my psych degree. So yeah, my psychology knowledge is very spotty, to say the least. BK says so much misinformation here about BPD. I would love some clarifying. I mean, I didn't research BPD in order to do this chat, and I don't have a lot of information. So I would love. I want to make sure people watching know that I am not an authority on that, and I don't know a lot about it. I can tell you more about ADHD because it's something that I have, but I can't speak a lot about BPD because I don't have it, and I haven't done a lot of research. So please don't take anything that I'm saying about BPD as fact. Do your own research, please. Yeah, I feel the same way, Amanda. I think people who constantly say how much they don't care are the ones that usually care the most, definitely. All right. So we've got about 15 minutes left. We can talk about something else if you like, or we can keep talking about this. It is totally up to the people that are here live. Y'all are in control. Yeah. Jake's Baby Cake says, I noticed a big change in Trisha since they started frenemies. They seem to really care about the way they troll, calling out bad behavior, but not as nasty as they were before. And I think part of that is the positive reinforcement that Trisha is getting from being on frenemies. Trisha is more popular now than I think they've ever been. I think if you don't know, Trisha's pronouns are they, them. So that's why I'm using that in case you weren't familiar. Because I know some of my audience maybe didn't know that. So I do think that Trisha is getting fame, more notoriety, more credit, more popularity due to their opinions on frenemies than I think they ever got from trolling. So I think that's part of why they are changing so much, and showing that change is because of the positive reinforcement for that behavior. And also they're in therapy. So I think they said that they're in therapy 3 days a week. That's awesome. I mean, if that's what you need, that's what you need. Yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. Tish says, I like that frenemies keeps calling out bad behavior of other influencers to try to hold them accountable. Yeah. And I think that it's I don't know much about H3. H3, I don't even really know a whole lot about Trisha. I mean, it's kind of out of my realm of what I watch on YouTube, but it's interesting to hear their perspective. They're both very intelligent people, so it's interesting to hear their perspective. I don't always agree with everything they say, but I think their perspective is very interesting. Okay. Indigo says, I didn't say you couldn't treat it. It's difficult to treat. DBT, which is something I'm not familiar with, is best, but many don't want to do it. If someone told you your personality is incorrect, many would be offended. Yeah, totally. I will be Googling DBT when this is over. Yeah, Jake's again says, I watched Trisha's videos and they said that they are taking accountability for their past behavior and trying to learn and grow. Yeah. And, honestly, at first, I didn't believe that that was what was happening because Trisha has trolled so much over the years. And that's part of the problem with trolling is that, you become an unreliable source of your own information. You don't know whether someone's trolling or they're truly being honest. You don't know whether they're really showing who they are or if they're playing a character in order to get views. So you become this untrustworthy character rather than the person that you are, which, it's hard to be genuine after you've been a troll for so long. It's hard to gain that trust back because we genuinely don't know if this is even the real Trisha. I don't think we'll ever know. I think that we may be seeing more of the real Trisha now than we ever have, but we don't know. It comes down to. NK says DBT is dialectical behavior therapy. CBT is cognitive behavior therapy. Gotcha. I've never heard of dialectical behavior therapy, but I have heard of cognitive behavior therapy. Yeah. Such as says, it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you keep lying, trolling, you won't know when they're being honest. 100%. That's an excellent, excellent analogy. Absolutely. Kendra says, as someone with BPD, I find myself in fight, flight, or freeze in situations most people wouldn't. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Jennifer says, I think Ethan is good for Trisha. He grounds them in a way. They balance each other out. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Emily says, I love the education that's happening here. Emily says, dialectical behavior therapy is an evidence-based psychotherapy that begins with efforts to treat borderline personality disorder. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. See, because most of my training was in education. So I I don't know a lot about that. At one point I wanted to be a school psychologist, but then I realized that school psychologists just give a lot of tests and that's all they do. So I ended up switching to being a reading specialist was what I wanted to do. And then I quit. I never made it. I got the qualifications to do it, but I never made it. And it was a very competitive job to get. I never tried to get a reading specialist job. I didn't stay long enough. But that was where I wanted to do because I loved teaching phonics. That was so fun. Like teaching kids who just don't get phonics how to learn through phonics was like the joy of my life. I loved that. Liz says, I believe that we should hold people accountable, but we should all be a little more empathetic toward each other. I see it a lot at work with people judging low income people. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And they're really, I think that when we end up judging people, it's because we have a lack of knowledge or a lack of experience with those people. If you've never been someone who is low income, you maybe don't have as much empathy. Maybe you don't have as much understanding of what it's like. And how hard like working 2 and 3 jobs is. Like it's freaking hard, there's a lot of, I think we definitely need to be a little more empathetic. And I think that the internet gets a lot of crap for being crappy. But I really do feel like the internet has allowed us to become interconnected in a way that we've never been able to be interconnected before. And I think it gives us access to people we never would have had access to. Unfortunately, just because of the nature of being low income, the internet really doesn't allow us to be as interactive with people who are low income because they don't have internet access. They don't have smartphones. So I think that's one place where there's still a lot of lack of empathy and understanding. But I'm hoping that as we become more interactive, interconnected, not interactive, interconnected through the internet, we can become more empathetic as a society. And I think we might be getting there slowly, very, very, very slowly. But I agree. And I think it's just about taking that time to pause and say to yourself, do I understand what this person's going through? Do I genuinely understand? Have I ever been in the situation? If the answer is no, then asking questions and finding out and trying to understand where that person's coming from, I think is important. But people don't have time. They're busy. They're selfish. They're whatever, They got other things going on. And you can't learn about every single thing. There's only so many hours in the day. It's about setting a priority. And whether you have a priority for understanding and having empathy for others is an individual choice. Talking about Demi Lovato with the frozen yogurt. Oh my gosh. Was that like a couple weeks ago? Demi Lovato in the frozen yogurt place. Oh my gosh. That was a mess. That was such a mess. If you did not hear that story, that was a mess. I think she apologized though, didn't she? Didn't Demi apologize? I think she did. If not, she should have. That was just ridiculous. If you don't know that story, there's plenty of articles and stuff on it. I don't want to tell the story wrong, but yeah. Okay. Jake's baby. I keep finding Jake's comments. I watched part of Demi Lovato's apology video and stopped. She didn't seem genuine. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. Okay, Sahara says the same thing. It was not a sincere apology. It was so obvious. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you have a giant platform and you call out a one-store frozen yogurt place, like, come on, man. Like, really? And she just ended up making herself look dumb, in my opinion. She ended up making herself look so stupid that she was mad because she thought that the frozen yogurt place was promoting diet culture by having sugar-free options. And then there was a picture from like 2017 where there was a basket of, it was like a cookie company that was like No Guilt Cookies or something like that. But it was like the cookie company. It wasn't like made by them. It's like a company called No Guilt, whatever. Like get mad at the company, not the frozen one location LA frozen yogurt company that has a bin of them in 2017. Like, come on, man. Like it's kind of a mess. I mean, I get, with, being triggered by diet culture and all that, but there's a lot of reasons why people need sugar-free food or want sugar-free food other than dieting. It's not always about dieting. And also, didn't she promote Teamy Blends, which is like detox teas, which are, from what I understand, I could be wrong, I might be wrong, that they are not good for you and very bad for you. So I don't know. I could be wrong there, though. I could have my facts wrong there. But yeah, that was a whole hot mess. And it's like, if you don't like the place, then just don't go there. Like, don't go there. If you don't like it and you don't like what they're selling, then don't go there and let other people go there. Like, maybe other people like it. I don't know. I mean, I think it's important to stand up for what you believe in, but just making sure that you got your ducks in a row, especially if you have that large of a platform. What is diet culture? Diet culture is promoting weight loss through dieting. And a lot of it is based in marketing, where it's not about the health. A lot of people believe that it's not about the health of the person. It's about dieting itself in order to sell product. Using words like guilt-free, using, sugar-free as a marketing tactic to get people to perpetually be on diets, which isn't always healthy. Can be. The way that I personally, being a person who has never significantly struggled with weight, I've definitely had, weight fluctuations and things. But I personally feel like it's more of a lifestyle choice thing, that if you're going diet, a lot of diets will, you'll eventually gain the weight back and sometimes more, depending on the diet. So I think that that's why people get so passionate about it, is because they know that they've maybe been on diets their whole lives, and it hasn't worked for them and has caused them more problems. So they're trying to fight against diet culture in order to promote a healthy lifestyle, which is really where I feel like, in my opinion, we should all be, is doing what's right for us that makes us feel healthy and happy, and whatever that may be for the unique individual. Oh, okay. Amber says it's not just sugar-free food, it's dairy-free food options for people like me who are allergic to dairy. And I think that's, dairy-free options are so important to so many people. Not me. I like my dairy, and I know that it's probably not good for me, but I do enjoy dairy. Yeah, here we go. Becca says, I think what defines diet culture is that it offers quick solutions that aren't necessarily healthy or maintainable solutions. That's what separated diet culture from genuinely healthy lifestyle. Thank you, Becca, for articulating that better than I did. I appreciate you. Chloe says, diet culture is the pressure from commercial and celebrity cultures that constantly diet and lose weight. It's very harmful. Thank you, Chloe. You all are articulating this better than I did. And I think that because it's such an emotional thing, it's such an emotional, psychological thing, a lot due to society, and societal expectations, which can be very damaging, and also, one's own feeling the need to fit in with society and feeling like your body type doesn't fit in with society and doing what you can in order to fit in with society standards. It's such a difficult topic. And it's not one that I understand from personal experience very well. I have, I have these 10 pounds that fluctuate, and I'm trying to get some of that off, because when I start getting to the higher end of my 10 pounds where I fluctuate, my face starts rounding out, and that's when I get comments about how fat I look. Which is not fun. So I try to keep that 10 pounds off, but I do it through lifestyle choices, through not eating as much sugar. I do some intermittent fasting to help with that. But mostly not eating as much junk food. And that really helps me a lot, and I wouldn't call it a diet. I would say just tightening up my food choices to not eating things I know I shouldn't have been eating in the first place, which is why my face got round, So yeah. Sahar, thank you. Those skinny tea things everyone promotes as part of diet culture, but Demi is supporting and endorsing these companies. Why doesn't she go after them? Why did she go after small business in COVID? Yeah, totally. Love that. Thank you. Love your perspective. All right. Michelle says, as someone with education in nutrition, it's dangerous to use certain terms. Lifestyle changes are better than diet. There's no good or bad foods. Yes. I do see. This is what I don't understand, and I'm going to be open with you. I don't understand there's no good or bad foods. I think that I understand the psychological connection there, but there are foods that are healthier and less healthy. And I would say that the less, there are foods that are not actual food, things that are just basically made out of chemicals that were engineered in order to create people to want more of those foods. And to me, that's a bad food. I don't know. Please, I know, the internet is not a place that likes to see people learning and growing. So I get, if I just totally said something that's completely off, I'm open to learning, totally. But I see that there are foods that are not good for you. And I think saying that they're not bad might, I don't know. I just don't get how that is and it's helpful. I guess because it takes away the guilt if you don't call it bad, if you have every once in a while. And again, this is coming from somebody that hasn't had the struggles that so many people have had. So, I'm just being honest. It's just something that I don't get. Michelle says everything in moderation. Totally. And when I start gaining weight, it's usually because I've not had things in moderation. It's because I've decided to, my daughter had, cheesecake for her birthday, and I decided I was going to eat. I was limiting myself. Cheesecake Factory. So these are 1,200 calorie pieces of cheesecake. I'm going to let myself have a third of a piece of cheesecake every night, and maybe I won't gain weight, but I did. But to me, that was choice. That was not moderation, and that was a choice. And my face blew up a little bit. So to me, I needed to make a different choice. I was like, no, not liking where this is going. Not healthy. Not good. Yeah. Because that's the most important thing, in my opinion, is just being healthy. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, processed cheese slices. I do happen to enjoy an occasional processed cheese slice. And they're a lot cheaper. Processed cheese slices are a lot cheaper than deli cheese, which is processed too. I don't know. There were people that will argue that that any kind of cheese is bad, but I'm a big fan of cheese. I have trouble with it. I'm not perfect. So, okay. Tadek says there are less healthy foods, but there shouldn't be morally good or bad foods. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that maybe that's where I need to make the distinction, is that morally good, there's no food it's not a moral thing, but it's a choice of how you want to take care of your body and making a choice that is better for your body versus not as good for your body. Maybe. All right. We're 3 minutes over. I went over. I gotta let y'all go because I don't like to keep you beyond. But I am still in a learning process with that. It's a topic that I would like to learn more about. So if you are more knowledgeable about that than I am, if after this renders, if I didn't read your comment, please feel free to come back in the comments and tell me what you would like, or if there are resources that you think I should read. Typically, those get flagged for me to review. But if it's a good source, I'll purposely go in and make sure I approve it. So if you don't see it right away, it's because it got sent to my filter, and I'll put it in because links usually get sent to that folder. But yeah, I definitely would love to learn more about that topic. It's just not something I've really delved into a whole lot. So yeah, but thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. And, hopefully you're not attacked by any, pointy toothed bunny today. And, yeah, I'm going to go and stay safe. Have a great week. And I will see you next week. We're going to go back to regular schedule next week with What's Up in Makeup and everything. And we'll have chat again next week. All right. Mad love to you. Have a good one. Stay safe. All right. Bye.